Well, I don't think anybody would. I think I mentioned last time that he passed away a few days before Christmas, and so I am looking forward to Christmas. I'm just not looking forward to those few days before Christmas. And this morning has been harder than most are, just simply because that's getting closer, and it's always there to some extent. Sometimes it's there a lot more and a lot stronger, and other times it's there, but it's way in the background, and there can still be joy and contentment and different things. Um, and I think that's just kind of how grief goes. That it's not a linear process by any means. It's all over the place. There's not always a reason for why something's hard. I know, like the 6 month anniversary, that was hard too. It's just, just couldn't do anything. Um, one of the biggest things I've noticed with this is this whole year, especially early on, I don't have the same energy. That load of dealing with grief, dealing with his loss. It takes a lot just to be able to do that. Um, so there's not a whole lot left over for anything else. Early on, just trying to be there somewhat for my other kids. Sure, I didn't do a great job in that because they're dealing with the loss of their brother. I'm trying to help out, and I'm sure I could have done much better. Trying to be there for my wife, same thing. She's trying to deal with the loss of her son too, and I'm sure there's things she needed from me that I wasn't able to provide at the time because I'm dealing with it as well. Um, and normally I kind of like being able to be there for everybody, and to do all the things that I want to do. Um, but at first, I couldn't even think to work. There was no way I could have used any brain power to try to figure out anything that was going on wrong for someone, and then try to be able to help. It took a couple weeks just before I could do that. Um, One of the walking was a good thing. That kind of gave me some time, helped to get some of that stress and energy out. It was real easy walks. They weren't hard by any means. And like I mentioned, sometimes doing that with my dogs was helpful. But it just gave me time to process things and to kind of listen as well. Um, and I could climb a little bit initially. Um, like I said, like sprinting was out of the question. That requires so much output that I didn't have that kind of energy. And the climbing part, I could do like 15 to 30 minutes. That was it. Like after that, it wasn't that my muscles were tired and I couldn't, grab anything or grip anything, but it's just, my brain was over it. My body was just done. Um, that's definitely gotten better. I can climb for more normal time periods now. Um, it seemed like doing weights and walking were a lot easier as far as the activity side of things. Um, Luckily with weights, it doesn't require too much mental capacity to just be able to lift the weight. Not saying there's none, but not comparatively speaking, I think it was a whole lot less than sprinting, that kind of output that you need there, and sometimes the output that you need on the climbing wall too. So those things were helpful in the helping me process things, get the energy, the stress out in a healthy way, not keeping it in. Um, I mentioned last time too about having people around. Um, I am so happy I have my faith in God and Jesus, because I don't think I could have made it through without it. And, it's because of that we had so many people reaching out to us, checking on us, doing things for us. Tons of people at our church stepped up huge. And some friends of ours that don't go to our church anymore, or just go to different churches, different things. Um, but they've been there, and this wasn't the first time. So that really meant a lot. It meant a lot to all of us. I know to my wife and I, it was huge. Like I said, they didn't just plan the memorial like without taking us into consideration, but they did like do everything. They set everything up, made sure it was what we wanted, and then made sure it happened. And we just had to show up, basically. So I mean, that was a massive blessing right there, because we couldn't have done it. We just didn't have the capacity at the time. Um, so I do think faith can be very helpful in these times. I'm sure some people that are listening to this or watching this don't have faith. Um, I mean, I would encourage you to think about it, look into it, but just make sure you've got people around you at the very least that care about you and are willing to do some of these things for you. And this is too much to go through alone, so you got to have somebody with you. I mean, Chuck would reach out to me quite often, and it wasn't like he didn't have anything going on. He was actually dealing with a cancer diagnosis and treatment at the time, and yet he's still reaching out to me. He's worried about his own health, how that's impacting his wife, his kids, and yet he's still taking time to check on me, see how I'm doing, see if there's something he can do. So things like that, they mean a lot. It means a ton. And so, there's still people that will reach out periodically and check on me now, and I appreciate it. Things are definitely better now than they were right after it happened, but that just doesn't mean they're good. There, some days, sometimes during the day that are, but like I said, there's kind of always this heaviness around. And, right now we're decorating, getting ready for Christmas, and my wife put up their stockings yesterday or the day before, and it's good to see it stocking up there. It hurts. No doubt it hurts. It's bittersweet, but I do like that sweetness of seeing it. So, I mean, I'm sure that's something we'll just keep doing forever, as we have grandkids and things, that it will just add stockings to it. We're not going to take stockings away. I think that's how a lot of things are. They're bittersweet. It can be hard to think about memories and things early on, because it just makes you cry. But there comes a point where there's not as many tears for those memories. There's still some, but where you can laugh as well. I've got a video of him where he didn't know I was recording him. We were watching something on TV, and I don't remember what now. It might have been a movie, who knows. But just getting the video of him laughing and everything, and then him kind of figuring out that I was recording it was pretty funny. Sorry, had to have my towel on you. This would be tough. So those things are nice. Like with my dad, when he passed away, we had to bring some stuff back. So I had a box of stuff that just sat in my garage. And I mean, it sat there for a year or so, maybe a little bit over. And I mean, I walked by that box every single day, normally multiple times each day. And I would look at it and be like, I need to go through that and put that away. And then the next I'll be like, not today. I just wasn't in a place where I could do that until that year or so had passed. And I looked and it's like, I need to do that. Like, oh, I'm going to go do that now. So I think, just be patient. Don't have expectations on how things are going to be or what you're going to be able to do. I don't have expectations on anything. I just, will kind of have my plan, say like for working out or climbing on the wall or whatever else. That, okay, I should be doing that, say Wednesday. But then Wednesday comes and maybe Wednesday's not a good day. and I'm not going to force those things. If I feel up to it, I'm going to do it. If I don't, I'm not, and I can do it another time. And so I can be, gracious to myself. I can be patient and not try to push things and make things worse or force it. Um, and it's not uncommon after this too, after some big stressful event, whether it is the loss of someone you love or something else, to where you get sick, you have some health issues that pop up, and I mean that's normal. So try not to freak out about those things. It's just there's so much load, and the body's trying to deal with it all, that maybe there's not the reserves there, so it gives it a chance for something to kind of pop up. And I mean, that might be a good thing in that it gets us to slow down and kind of deal with things rather than trying to push through and keep forcing things and actually not dealing with it. Um, one of the men that was in our grief share group one time mentioned that, what he was really hoping to get out of the group was just to kind of learn what it meant to grieve well. And I don't think anybody knows exactly what that looks like. But that's one of the things he said in the beginning of the group. And then I asked him towards the end of it if he had kind of gotten an answer. And he said the best answer that he had was just that, there's times where you've got, the grief's going to hit you, and there's times where you've got to deal with it and, not ignore it. And I mean, I think that pretty much is what grieving well means. Exactly how that looks for everyone is going to play out very differently. There's no set pattern on, oh, you take these specific steps and then it's going to be this nice, gradual, easy progression. It just doesn't work like that. It's not going to be gradual. It's not going to be pretty. It's just going to be what it is. And so just allow yourself some space for that. And again, just don't try to push things. So I don't know. That's probably all that I have right now. It gets a little overwhelming. I mean, even right now, I'm having a hard time thinking clearly. So I know some of this rambles on. Sorry if that's not helpful. But I figured being authentic with this and kind of really showing what it's like, I figured that might be the most helpful thing. Not necessarily what I say, but just being open on it. That way, because I'm sure people are having some of the same struggles, same issues, and then seeing that, okay, I'm not the only one that's having that or dealing with that. Maybe that's the most helpful bit of this. So again, I mean, I'm doing this for me. It helps me to process things. It helps me to get some of the emotions out in a healthy way too, not to just stuff them down. But I do also hope this is helpful for other people. One kind of funny story I thought I'd share. I've got a scar on my thumb. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. That's actually contributable to my son. He had a crossbow, and I'm not a fan of different things like that. They're dangerous. You have to take them very seriously, and I just didn't feel like he could take things seriously enough. And so, he was having a hard time, getting that string pulled back far enough. I was actually climbing at the time, so this happened right there at the climbing wall. And so he had two hooks around the string trying to pull it back, but when it got stuck or something, and I knew better than to mess with the thing, but he was stuck. I asked him for help, and so I helped, and I moved that string a little bit, and of course, or that hook a little bit, and there was so much tension there. I don't even know what happened. It happened so fast, but it took a chunk out of my thumb, and I mean, it's bleeding just like that. I don't remember now if it even hurt at first or if it was, took a little while to kind of realize what happened and then the pain finally started. We had already had, not fights, but, disagreements and debates about that not being safe and blah, 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 blah. And of course, it got me. I was kind of shocked, and I'm sure I said some some what, $3 words or however you want to say it. Um, and I'm sure, well, I know at first I was trying to say it was his fault. It wasn't his fault. I knew better than mess with the thing, but yet I did it anyway. He was scared to death. And so, I had to clean it to see if I needed stitches or anything. I didn't get stitches. If I did, maybe the scar wouldn't be that way, but I mean, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. Um, but I mean, he's following me to come in and clean it, and then he's following me back to our house so that I can get something around it. And, I mean, he just keeps apologizing and saying it's his fault. And I'm like, look, no, I know what I said earlier. I was wrong. That was just emotion, everything tied up in this. But no, I mean, I knew better than to do it. Dave Ramsey calls things like stupid tax when you know better or you do something that wasn't smart, you pay the price for it. Well, that was my price for it. Um, but just to let them know, like, no, this is on me. This isn't you. This is my fault. I knew better than to do it, but I did it anyway, and I'm going to be just fine. And was able to give him a hug and everything. And so, I mean, that wasn't the most fun experience, but I'm able to look back on it now. It still brings some tears because I miss him, but it brings some smiles and things as well. And that's just kind of how it is. I think a lot of times, there's going to be good, there's going to be bad, pretty, ugly. Relationships are always that way. There's more to it than just one thing. It's kind of all of human experience, and it's not always pretty. So, all right, I think that's it. Again, I hope you guys find this helpful. If there's anything I can do, just let me know.